Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Hey, I want to share something that I was reading just the other day in a Lenten devotional that I've been checking out this year by Roy Goebel. Yeah, it's been good enough. It's called Junkyard Wisdom Lent. Good enough that I went and bought the first Junkyard book. That'll be arriving probably by about the time that you see this. So it's based on Luke chapter 14, verse 25. Well, the whole devotional starts with Luke 9:51, where it says, Jesus turned his face and resolutely towards Jerusalem because he knew he was close to finishing up his mission. And man, just meditate on that for a little bit, because he knew what going to Jerusalem would mean. But in chapter 14, verse 25, 6 simple words, and I've really never meditated on this before. Large crowds were traveling with Jesus. There's some excitement now. I mean, there's this large crowd coming along. But from the very beginning, I'll ask it at the end. Do you think Jesus cares that it's a large crowd? It's kind of okay that the word is getting out now. A lot of times he's like, hey, don't tell anybody about this. He's avoiding the large crowds. But he knows that the whole deal is going to be up pretty soon. So he's got this whole entourage, and they're headed towards Jerusalem. There's this groundswell of community among the large crowds. People, for the most part, they want to be a part of it, okay? Albeit for different reasons. I'll look out on a Sunday morning or youth group over the years. I've known that a lot of times me being up front has nothing to do with the reasons why people are there. It has to do with that young lady over there. It has to do with the worship team. It has to do with, we never know for sure. Jesus did. So one of the things that Roy talks about here is that he had friends who used to travel city to city with the Grateful Dead. And they would bring posters and tie-dye t-shirts to sell in the parking lot before the concert. I just heard on the radio yesterday that Led Zeppelin had a concert 50 years ago yesterday, I think it was. And tickets, the range in price for tickets was $6 to $8.25. Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh, the times have changed. So the other thing that his friends would do, they would record, and it's not legal, but they would record the Grateful Dead concert on cassette tapes, and they'd sell them at the next concert. And they experienced true community in this caravan, and people shared stories and meals and cigarettes and other things, is what he says right here. So he said, I don't think that Jesus people were wearing tie-dye t-shirts, maybe tie-dye togas, maybe, just maybe. So, but whatever the individual reasons, the community around Jesus kept growing and growing and growing. It's still doing that today. You might not see it in your church, your neighborhood, but around the world, it is happening. And you know what? Roy talks about the fact that he's been a part of some of those meaningful communities over the years. I hope you have. Now, I don't like it when people are like, oh, those were the glory days. Because usually the glory days were the people that helped create it, it was intentional and you experienced it. So what I would say is, how about do that for the next generation? But he said, I've joined for different reasons, but they've all had one thing in common. They shared grace and forgiveness, which made me feel like I truly belonged. Are you doing that for somebody in your faith community? I realize a lot of people from different churches watch this, but are we making ourselves a host, or are we expecting everybody to do everything for us? I love this too. People are drawn to any community that welcomes them with open arms and gives them priceless gifts. As I like to say, you can't get it at Walmart. Can't get it at Amazon. We can't go out on our own and purchase grace and forgiveness. There's no amount of money we can spend that will provide us with a sense of belonging. That's absolutely true. But first century, Jesus walking along, a big crowd was there. And you know what? I think people felt loved. They felt accepted. But think about what Jesus offered then, and he still offers it now. He loves all. He heals freely. He didn't ask for money. I have some friends who are doctors in different ways, and you know what? I have a great deal of respect for them because they do it because they really want to help people. Yeah, you pay them something, but that's not the point. And I could go into other stories. For some people, it is the point. But with Jesus, it never is. Jesus forgives instantly. I've never read anything in Scripture that says, well, let me think about it. You're pretty bad. He encourages everyone, except maybe the religious hypocrites. I hope you have found a community, a faith community that's like this? And if not, maybe it's something in the past. How about build one? How about purpose to build one? Be a person who builds a Jesus community that accepts people, that loves people, that gives them priceless things. God bless you. Have a great day.